Hi, everyone. As you continue to explore different topics in marketing, you may be surprised to find how many of these ideas seem to show up all around you in everyday life. And that's a good thing. It means you're learning and paying attention. Follow along as we continue our exploration of these various marketing topics. Here in week 2, we're stepping into one of the most powerful aspects of marketing. As we noted in our earlier session, marketing is not just about selling products. It's about understanding people. We are going to explore how companies gather information, turn it into insight, and ultimately use that insight to create real value for customers. Think of this as the behind-the-scenes engine that drives the marketing decisions, and it does so in a smart way. Let's begin with the Marketing Information System, or MIS. At its core, this is a structured system made up of people, processes, and technology. Its job is simple in concept, but powerful in execution. It figures out what information is needed, gathers that information, and then helps decision makers actually use it. The real goal here is not just collecting data. It is creating meaningful insights that lead to better decisions and stronger relationships with customers. When companies get this right, they're not guessing, they're acting with purpose. Now let's talk about secondary data. This is information that already exists. It was collected for another purpose, but we can use it to answer new questions. Think about internal company databases, industry reports, or even something as simple as a basic Google search. In most cases, marketers start here because it's fast, it's accessible, and it's often surprisingly useful. But there is a catch. Just because data is available does not mean it is relevant, and that is where judgment becomes critical. Secondary data comes with clear advantages. It is low cost, it is quick to obtain, and sometimes it provides insights that would be nearly impossible to collect on your own. But there are trade-offs. The data might be outdated. It might not match your specific needs, or worse, it could be biased. So as marketers, we have to approach this information with a healthy level of skepticism. Good marketing is not just about using data, it's about evaluating it. When secondary data is no longer enough, we move into primary data collection. This is where things get more intentional. We design research specifically to answer our questions. There are 4 major decisions we need to make when doing this. First, how will we gather the data? Second, how will we contact people? Third, how will we select our sample? And fourth, what tools or research instruments should we use? This is where marketing starts to feel a lot like detective work. Let's break down the main research approaches. Observational research is exactly what it sounds like. We watch what people do rather than asking them what they say they do. Ethnographic research takes that a step further. It places researchers directly into the consumer's environment. Then we have survey research, which is all about asking questions. This is one of the most flexible tools marketers have. Finally, experimental research helps us understand cause and effect. What happens, for example, if we change the price, the packaging, or the promotion? Each approach serves a different purpose, and choosing the right one is where skill really comes into play. Now let's talk about how we actually collect this information. Mail surveys are relatively inexpensive, but also slow. Telephone interviews are faster, but they can introduce bias. Personal interviews give us rich, detailed insights, especially in focus groups where people interact and share ideas. Each method has its strengths and weaknesses. And in marketing, there is rarely a perfect method. There is only the best method for a given situation. This table highlights something important. Every contact method involves trade-offs. Some give us flexibility, others give us speed. Some are cost-effective, others provide deeper insights. As marketers, we are constantly balancing all of these factors. The goal is not perfection, it is effectiveness. Online marketing research has completely changed the game. Today, companies can collect massive amounts of data quickly and at low cost. Online surveys, virtual focus groups, and behavioral tracking allow marketers to understand customers all in real time. Of course, there is a challenge here. How do we know who is actually responding? And how do we ensure the data is reliable? Technology gives us power, but it also demands responsibility. Let's talk about privacy. This example with Target is a powerful reminder of how far data analysis can go. By analyzing purchasing behavior, Target was able to predict something deeply personal about many of their customers. This level of insight is impressive, but it also raises some serious ethical concerns. As marketers, we have to ask not just what can we do, but what should we do? Research is a powerful tool, but like any tool, it can be misused. Sometimes the issue is not outright deception. Often it is subtle manipulation. This is why ethical standards exist. Organizations have developed guidelines to ensure research is conducted responsibly. Ultimately, companies must take ownership of how they gather and use information. Trust is not optional. It is essential. Next, we shift into understanding buyer behavior. As we have noted before, marketing is not just about products. It is about people. And people are influenced by culture, environment, and social structures. This is where marketing becomes both art and science. Culture. Culture shapes everything. It influences what we value, how we behave, and what we buy. Subcultures refine those influences even further. And social class plays a role in shaping preferences and behaviors. As marketing professionals, if we do not understand these factors, we can easily miss the larger picture. Here is a real-world example. AT&T created a campaign specifically designed to connect with young Asian American consumers. To raise perceptions of AT&T as an innovative and preferred brand among Asian American youth, many of whom are key influencers in its tech markets, AT&T created an engaging, crowdsourced boy meets girl web series called Away We Happened. This was not random. It was intentional. It shows how understanding cultural dynamics can lead to more meaningful engagement. Abraham Maslow sought to explain why people are driven by particular needs at particular times. Why does one person spend a lot of time and energy on personal safety and another on gaining the esteem of others? Maslow's answer is that human needs are arranged in a type of hierarchy, from the most pressing at the bottom to the least important at the top. They include physiological needs, safety needs, social needs, esteem needs, and self-actualization needs. Understanding where a customer is on this hierarchy helps marketers connect more effectively. The buyer decision process follows a clear path. First, we recognize a need. Then we search for information. Next, we evaluate alternatives, make a purchase decision, and finally reflect on that decision afterward. That last step is critically important because satisfaction or dissatisfaction shapes future behavior. The adoption process is the mental process through which an individual passes from first learning about an innovation all the way through to final adoption. Consumers go through 5 stages in the process of adopting a new product. And this could be a good, a service, or some idea that is perceived by some potential customer as new. The first stage is awareness. In this stage, the consumer becomes aware of the new product but lacks information about it. The second stage is interest, which involves the consumer seeking information about the new product. The third stage is evaluation, where the consumer considers whether trying the new product makes sense. The fourth stage is trial. In this stage, the consumer tries the new product on a small scale to improve his or her estimate of its value. The final stage is adoption, where the consumer decides to make full and regular use of the new product. There are 3 major types of buying situations: straight rebuy, modified rebuy, and a new task situation. In a straight rebuy, the buyer reorders something without any modifications. It is usually handled on a routine basis by the purchasing department. In a modified rebuy, the buyer wants to modify product specifications, prices, terms, or suppliers. A company buying a product or service for the first time faces a new task situation. The marketer not only tries to reach as many key buying influencers as possible, but also provides help and information. The buyer makes the fewest decisions in the straight rebuy and the most in the new task situation. Systems or solutions selling, as it is sometimes called, refers to buying a packaged solution to a problem from a single seller, thus avoiding all the separate decisions involved
in the complex buying decision.